welcome back to Beer There, Drunk That. I started a trend because I moved and now the other two guys moved. So get on my
Yeah,
level, nerds.
he's a trendsetter.
Yeah.
You gotta follow the lead, right? He's the cool guy, Donny Cool.
He's my hero.
My hero is a fire truck. I want to be a fire truck when I grow up.
You know, Caitlin's brother James, when he was younger, he said he wanted to be a big black horse.
I love that
I can
story.
somehow see that.
And
That gets me every time.
it just felt like I think it's a good thing to strive for. We should all want to be something cool.
Yeah, a fire truck or a big black horse
Yeah.
or a beer podcaster.
Yeah,
Do
that'll
you know
happen.
any? Do you know any? I would interview a beer podcast.
Fuck, man.
I mean,
I've been looking
honestly,
for them.
if I had some extra money lying around, I think I would invest heavily in a beer podcast.
Yeah, and I just think it's the right market for it.
I agree. I think there's a lot of possibility in this market now. So
Yeah.
I, for one, am very much looking forward to winning the lottery next year.
I can't wait.
Wait. First, fellas, what are we drinking? And then I have a fun
Oh,
story with winning the
yeah,
lottery.
I'd like to crack this. From Other Half Brewing, not the downstate one. This is Citrochroma. It's a double hop dry IPA.
Ooh,
Nice.
oh, that was one of our free beers, wasn't it?
Free beer. We're still working on them.
I am not going to spoil the name of this beer, because I'm actually finishing up
Because it
one of
is
my tasting
wine.
beers
Oh, nice.
because it is wine. It
Um,
definitely it's a shade of black that sucks some of the light out of the room. I forget what forget what you call it, but
Inverts it. I
Donnie,
got the
what you got?
I got the Shiner Seasonal Hill Country Peach Wheat
Oh,
Ooh.
that sounds
from
interesting.
Spotzel Brewing in Shiner, Texas.
Spotzel.
So, cheers to that,
Uh-oh.
boys.
Slancha.
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 Um, but no, my story is a guy I work with. Like he's in a different department, but we had a big long meeting the other day, and he was telling me a story that he was in Mexico with his wife and kids, and he had had a couple beverages as you do at a resort in Mexico, and his kids were having so much fun in the pool, and his wife was like, we should get a pool. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. When we get back, I'll start figuring it out. She goes, all right, well, I'll hold you to your word. And then the next morning, after he's had, multiple glasses of water and Tylenol, he is his wife goes, so do you remember what you said? And he goes, yeah, unfortunately. So he goes back, he starts pricing out. He's like, how the fuck am I going to pay for this pool? Goes to the Brewers game the next week. Someone comes up and asks him if he wants to pay for the 50, get tickets for the 50-50 raffle. And he thought it went to charity, so he gave him $10. He won it. He won $16,000.
Oh my
Holy
God,
crap.
dude.
More than enough
Pool
to pay for
paid
the
for.
pool and the pool accessories and all the shit to go with a pool.
Oh my God.
Like, what are the fucking odds?
I would, oh, I wish. I need to win the lottery.
Wait, can we just do that? Are we able to just do 50-50s randomly and then just pocket the rest of it? That probably can't.
I mean, as long as it's not like a high school performing arts fundraiser, yeah.
I mean, so yeah, so that's the thing is in theory, you're really supposed to give like some of the money back. So like the pot. So let's say we go to a Brewers game. Pot is $32,000. So we take home half of that.
Mm-hmm.
The organization, whatever, takes half. But then if it's like a charity, like you really should give a little bit of your money back.
No. I'm talking about I get that. Like it's
You just
awesome
want
to
us to
do
have a
50-50s
pool.
for a charity. This genuinely makes me sound like I would never obviously do this. This makes me sound terrible, but if you just show up to a function like a Red Wings game and you just start doing a 50-50, the winner gets half and then you just take the other half.
It's not illegal. You are entitled to that money. It's just you look a little
Yeah,
like
that
you
just
won.
sucks.
Oh,
Like
wait,
that's
hold
so
on, hold
weird.
on, hold on. I'm finally caught up with you, Luke. I'm understanding what you're saying now. I'm understanding now.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not
I think it's a
talking
great
about.
idea.
I'm not
I
talking
thought
about defrauding like
no, no,
a
no.
charity.
I thought you meant like just going to games and like buying 50-50 tickets and just taking all the money we win. And I was like, I don't think the odds are that great, but we
No.
could try it.
No.
You're saying we're the 50-50.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I
We're
went.
half.
Yeah,
We're the other half.
yep.
right. We're the charitable cause.
I mean, I
Maybe
think
that's
it's
how
a
other half
I think
brewing
it's a
got their
great
start.
idea.
They were the other half of the 50-50
They were the
pot.
other
They just
half.
so the brewery across the street from my office like went out of business randomly a couple weeks ago, and I drove past it the other day, and there's just a like all the brewing equipment is like out in the parking lot. It's just like giant fermentation tanks in
I
a
mean,
parking lot now.
I
Rest in
think
peace, one of us brewing.
One
RIP.
of us. One of us.
One of them. One of
Yeah, well, I
them.
was gonna say one of them closed down breweries.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, this beer is
Yeah.
really good. I like this. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other half does a fan freaking tastic job with their IPAs.
Well,
They
it's because
blow it
they're
out of the
actually
water.
that's because they're from the New York City area, right, Luke?
I'm pretty sure they're West Bloomfield.
Never gonna
Charlie was
live that
really
one
not
down.
happy with you for that.
No, he was pissed even.
Some might say.
Heaved.
Some might say.
Ticked off.
Um, I gotta go grab the cans real quick.
Oh
The
my
the the
God,
taste.
this
I
guy.
guys, listen. I've been out of
This
practice for a
guy.
long time here. You guys have been troopers holding down
Oh
the fort
my
while old
God.
Luke has been off the horse.
Well,
Well,
get going. Get
yeah,
Oh
go
going.
get
yes,
those
yes.
freaking cans.
Don't just look at me.
Hmm.
This guy.
Yeah. So have you thought about the states that your beers came from? Like for me, it was genuinely a little hard because I like I've driven through and lived in a number of states over the past couple years.
That's fair.
So it's like, okay, like what counts as having been to a state? Is driving through it like I've driven through Indiana, like I could probably I have not stopped my car in Indiana, you know.
That's how I think about it. So it's more of like a so when I like if I'm counting states I've been to, typically it's like I mean like some of the states that are close to New York, like I'll do like a day trip there. Like
Mhm.
if I'm going for something, doing an event in that state, that counts. If I stay overnight, that counts,
Yeah,
obviously.
I've spent nights in
Um,
Ohio and Pennsylvania and like
exactly,
stuff. Like
exactly.
I've spent nights there, which counts. But so it was a little hard for me because I'm like looking at all these states like that are close by, and I'm like, I've like been to all these.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. So I mean, it was easy for me because I was moving. I didn't have a ton of time to go beer shopping. So you came at the perfect time.
I get told that
Um,
a lot.
nice. High five. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Like, I mean, look, did you have a tough time like thinking about the states that your beers are from, or were you pretty clear cut on where you want?
Beers of the World makes it insanely easy.
Oh,
They have
that's
Yeah.
true.
labels. They have
That's true.
labels on the aisles that say, you know, state names, country names. It's pretty cool.
That
Yeah,
does
that
make it pretty easy.
it is a damn good store for that. Like for beers of the world, it is your one-stop shop.
Um, I'll also have to say it's going to be kind of fun because this will be the first episode that I'll listen to a portion of it that I was not part of. So it's going to be it's
It'll
going
be
to
a
be a
surprise.
surprise. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
talking shit about you the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should try rudely getting up and leaving at some point like I do. It's don't knock it till you try it.
At least you announced it this time and just didn't disappear while I'm
Just
talking.
just leave.
That's true.
No,
All right. Well, I mean, who wants to go first? Should we jump right into it, or do you have other comments about your states, Donnie?
no, I mean, I'll kick it off for us. So,
Rip
I've
it.
never been to the Pacific Northwest. So, I grabbed a beer that I had heard about before, and it like I would say it's relatively famous in like the historical craft beer scene. So I went with a beer from Oregon, specifically, hold on, right? Newport, Oregon.
Ooh.
From Rogue Ales, I have Dead Guy Ale.
Dead
Oh,
guy
I've
ale.
had
So
that.
yeah, it's a very like it's one of those like I from what I can gather, it was a beer that was on like the front end of the craft beer movement back in the day. So like I think a lot of people have had it, relatively speaking, compared to other beers we drink on this pod. It says it's a Maibach style ale, which I believe a Maibach is typically a lager. So it tasted definitely like a Maibach. It was a really good hoppy flavor, but it had a really like deep caramel color, which I thought was nice.
Mm,
It was like almost towards an amber ale or something like that. But it was sweet and hoppy. I think the amber and caramel color lent itself to the flavor really well. It definitely had a good like robust sweetness, but nothing was overwhelming in it. It felt like a very balanced beer. Um, I could only buy it in a 6 pack, so I have like 4 more of these, and
nice.
I will enjoy drinking them. I gave this beer a 3.5 out of 5. I think this is right in that like I will never be disappointed if I show up somewhere and this is on the menu or if this is in the cooler. And it's a beer I'm glad I tried because I understand now like back in the day, our parents probably tell us like all we had was freaking Lowenbrow or Jenny Cream or Schlitz in my dad's case. And this is like it feels like it was like it definitely feels like an early craft beer where it was getting adventurous in the US. And I'm glad it stuck around because I think it's a cool and iconic beer and the can is really cool with the dead guy on it.
I was
The
gonna
dead
say,
guy.
I now have that empty can as part of my Halloween decorations.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I'm not kidding. Like I
I'm
phase
not
out some of
surprised at
this
all.
stuff around Halloween time at the bar and move some of the more festive cans, if you will.
Dude, you should get some of that. I gotta send you some well, I'm not that close to it anymore. I guess I'm not far from it still. Some of that Nightmare Brewing. Do you remember when I did like the
It was like that Viking one or whatever.
yes, yes. I gotta send you some of those. Those are some Halloween
Those are
cans.
scary.
Yeah, please don't. I gotta sleep, man.
Luke's
You're
just gonna
gonna
have a
wake up.
nightmare of getting waterboarded by this beer with the cans in front of
We're gonna put it on your ceiling in the middle of the night.
No, no, not again. No.
The gout, the gout, the gout.
Well, hopefully there's at least some beer in it. There's not. It's
No,
empty.
no,
Dear
no,
God.
no, it's just course.
It's just that would be wait, that would I'm
It's
gonna
like
have
when the
to
people do the caramel onions, it's like caramel apples, and we put
Yeah.
cores in craft beer cans.
Donny, you just gave me such a good idea for
Dude,
April Fool's Day.
some people are just evil. That's such a. I've seen videos of parents giving the caramel apples or what they think are caramel apples to their kids,
It's onions, yeah.
and it's just, ugh, poor kid. That's trauma. That's true
Yeah,
trauma.
drinking an unexpected Coors Light.
That's
Is that criminal? Can you be charged for forcing
well,
someone to do that?
To
it's
drink a
grounds
Coors
for
Light.
murder.
It's
What happened with the
Officer,
Hatfields and the McCoys, right?
um, judge, I would never have killed my friend like that if they hadn't given me Coors Light and said it was something else. It's
and they'll
free.
They made me pay for it.
Not guilty.
any sensible judge would dismiss the case.
Very true.
Luke, I'll go next if that's okay.
By all means.
So, as I mentioned, I had a pretty easy time grabbing some beers for this because I didn't have to go shopping because our lovely friend Donnie sent Caitlin and I some new beers in our new apartment. Um, so both of these are from Wisconsin, little different parts of Wisconsin. The first one is Amherst, Wisconsin, which I only know Amherst, Buffalo, like
Yeah.
Amherst, New York area. So I don't know about an Amherst, Wisconsin. But the first one I had was called Mud Puppy Porter. It's by Central Waters Brewing Company. It is, oh, this one I couldn't find oh no, 5.6% porter. I really like this beer. I gave it a 4.5 on Untapped. It's like, I mean, I know brown ales and amber ales are kind of the nice mix between like that porter, stout, and ales, like lighter beers coming together. But I said it, this is like if an ale and a stout had a perfectly blended baby. Um, because I thought it was a not necessarily lighter than most porters, but like I thought just the best characteristics of ales and of porter of stouts, I mean, I noticed in this beer. So it definitely had that strong malt to it. It had some of that like that caramel, that sweetness that I really like in a stout or a darker beer. Um but so I forgot I wrote this. um so I said that this was like for me, dead middle on the moreish lessish scale. It's an ish beer. Um,
Ish-ish.
Ish-ish. We got more words to define.
it's just ish. So like like I wouldn't have a ton of them, but I could have more than like one or two. So I don't know. It's kind of it's that ish. It's the gray area there. Yeah, I really like this beer. Donnie, cheers to you for sending it.
Thank you. I mean, Central Waters, they do have a tap room in Milwaukee. And that's a beer you can find at a lot of places here. Like it's a very like I sent it to you because it was a like it's like the porter of the area.
Oh, okay.
I am very excited to try that beer.
It is super good. Like it's I totally agree with you, Keegan. It's a beer where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna drink a six pack in one sitting, but it's light enough on its feet that like you don't have to worry about just having one and being done for the day.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree.
No, it's got a very good light body to it. I like that beer a lot. I don't you guys know I've said before, I don't love the darker beers all the time, but that's one like I can pretty regularly drink and enjoy.
Well, and I like to think, I mean, this isn't me. Like a lot of times when I'm approaching beers, I kind of think about like, is it a transitional beer? Meaning, is it for someone who's trying to branch out versus is it someone who loves that? Which the second one I'll go into it, but for me, that's the second one is like it's a dark beer for dark beer drinkers. Whereas this Mud Puppy Porter, to me, it was like it's a dark beer that someone who maybe wants to try some heavier beers can try and like generally do well with.
So, so would you say this is the jumping off point, or this is sort of that continuation of the bridge after a jumping off point for somebody into the porter style?
I think it's really more after. I would think like that brown ales is really kind of the for me, in my opinion at least, like that transition point. And so I think this is another step past that. So it's kind of taking a couple more steps into darker beers and those porter stouts. Um, but it's not like necessarily a beer that you have to be Keegan or Luke to enjoy.
For sure. I'm not Keegan or Luke. I'm Donnie. But no, this is a beer like I want to get my dad to try because like my stepmom, she really likes like she only drinks like stouts and porters. Like that's all she
Hmm.
likes. She likes the dark beers. She loves the coffee flavor in beers. She loves that sort of stuff. And so my dad likes brown ale, so I think this would be a good middle point between them.
I think so. I agree.
I think that's the evolution that we should try and push your dad to follow. Can you imagine getting your father into like craft porters and stouts?
Dude, he like I told him so I don't know if you guys knew this story. When I was flying back for the holidays last year, um my flight we couldn't land and we had to be rerouted because there was a bunch of weather happening at the like in the main New Hampshire area. Like it was like raining and stuff. And we got really close to the ground and then they had to bail and circle us around and we did three passes to try and land and we couldn't. And so they
Holy
rerouted
crap.
us. And so it was just on the phone, like sitting on the ground at another airport while they gave us some extra fuel and waited for the rain to pass. And I talked to my dad on the phone. I was like, hey, like he's like, oh, like, do you need anything at the store? I'm like, could you look for this one beer from Allagash? I think it was called Snow Report. It's like a very like well-known like it was very renowned. I think they came out with it relatively recently at the time. It was like a holiday beer. I'm like, oh, I'd like a holiday beer for when I get home and I want to get done with a stressful travel day. And then he just kept buying me random Allagash beers because he's like, well, you said you liked that. You wanted to try that one. And I'm like, these are just other random beers. He
I
ended up
love
getting,
that though.
yeah, no, it was the thought that counts. It was like, and there was some really good stuff that he got out of it. He got one called North Sky. It's their like regular stout. It was really good, but it was like a little fruity, which I liked.
Yeah, I have had that one. That was
Yeah,
actually, I think, a tasting beer I first had in one of the guys brought it, I think, to Canada one
nice.
year. But yeah, it's very good.
I think Sophie and I are gonna do the Allagash tour in a couple weeks here.
All right. I
Yeah,
can't wait to hear about it.
I gotta go back to Portland just for that like little brewery area
There's
right
so
there.
many in that one small like street.
Yep.
Oh, but awesome. I'm glad you liked it, Keegan. I like.
Yes.
I was happy. Like that was a beer. I'm like uh, this is like Wisconsin is a very lager. I would say like a lot of lagers are big out here, and so I was like, oh, I got to find something different. And so that's one that's pretty renowned out here.
Yeah, no, and honestly, the other thing I liked about it, so not that I dislike that coffee taste. I'm not a coffee guy though, so if you can have like a darker beer that's more caramel than coffee, it's a home run hitter, and that's what this was for me. Like
It's
there wasn't a ton of
Oh, cool.
it's
like
more
coffee.
caramel chocolate, I would say.
I agree. Yep, 100%. So Luke, I think you'll very much enjoy it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to save for the second half of the podcast, or my second tasting, the one that I had that Donnie sent to me. I'm going to start my first tasting off here, Left Hand Brewing Company.
You're holding it in
Okay.
your right hand.
You
No,
know, I
camera's
did.
mirrored.
But they're based out of Colorado. I have not been to Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. I've always wanted to get out there, haven't done it yet.
You could try
And
chorus straight from the source.
I'm I will not be going to that state to do anything good to Coors, I'll tell you that much.
The only one they're required to make out there is Coors Banquet.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
I'll respect them for that. But this is Left Hand Brewing Company, Zesty Dreams Meyer Lemon Blonde Ale. It's a nitro.
Dude, they do so many
Oh.
nitro beers.
You, Donnie, would absolutely love this beer if
All
you have
right.
not already had it.
I
I
haven't.
could not recommend it more. I'm going to explain some of my tasting notes in a really bizarre fashion here. But it's how I feel. It's coming from the heart. Okay. Actually, first I'll say what my roommate Zach said about it, which was it's like Pine Sol with a lemon head aftertaste.
I would like
In
that then.
in the best way. It was so good.
In a
I
good way.
told Zach that it's what I had always hoped cleaning product would taste like.
Wait, you're telling me you haven't drank cleaning solution?
Two times. Two
Oh,
times.
okay.
Legally, he
All right.
can't endorse it.
But let me just tell you, I've got some brand loyalty. No, but so zesty is a great explanation in this beer. I mean, it's the epitome of refreshing. I wish that I had found this beer sooner, like prior to our shower beer podcast episode, because this absolutely belongs with me in the shower. Super refreshing. The nitro aspect of this beer was so interesting. I mean, like I, I call this the anti-Guinness. Like you look at a Guinness. I mean, the only comparison I can make is that they're both good. But you take a
And on
Guinness that's
Nitro, they're
yeah,
Nitro.
and on nitro, there you go. Well, all right. So well, I guess that too. But I mean, take everything you would describe about Guinness and reverse it, and this you have this beer. I mean, talk about two completely opposite ends of the spectrum. It's light, refreshing, light mouthfeel, citrus with 8 S's. Like I said,
Yes.
perfect shower beer. All right,
Huh.
I gave it a
Wow.
4.5 rating on Untapped. Um, And I think I also drank it at the perfect time because I had just packed a bunch of boxes, obviously getting ready for the move. So I was sweaty and I needed it.
That sounds amazing,
So
I
Luke.
love that. Actually,
absolutely fantastic beer.
speaking of refreshing, like moving beers, if we're gonna label something else as another
Sure.
tier, so that sounds phenomenal. I had the Corre Donny, and it was so good, so good.
That's
It was like, oh, it was chef's kiss. It was just fantastic. Like it was lime heavy. It had some of the salt. It was so good.
that's a good
That's
beer
another
name.
one I'm looking forward to because I haven't had I had my first run in with like a sea salt in beer type thing, but it was an NA. I'm
Did you like
excited to
it?
try one. The NA?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, it was
because
very good. Yeah, my
I've
dad
been
and I
I've
liked it.
actually been looking for that one. That's from it's from Athletic, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I saw that. Like I got an ad for it. It looked really good, and I like the sea salt and lime flavor in beers.
Oh wait, is it athletic?
It is. It just doesn't look like the rest of them, I think.
Yeah. They changed up they definitely changed up the can. But yeah, it was very good. I'm so excited to try that. So Keegan, I'm glad to hear it's good.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a miss from Donnie's pack yet.
Turns out they make beer good in Wisconsin, but
They
That
do good
is
beer.
news to me. I've always heard mixed reviews. No.
well, they do make Coors Light here.
Okay.
If you ever come to visit, I can show you. We'll go on the tour, and you can see where they make Coors Light.
Sure. I can survey the target area.
No, that's really cool though. I've like Left Hand, I feel like every time I see a beer from them, it's on nitro. And I don't know like if I'm just not looking hard enough, but I
I,
like
I
that they are like making craft nitro beers because I think putting a beer on nitro is really, really good.
oh yeah. Well, Jim just did it or just this winter he had done it with a strawberry stout. That was
Oh,
so freaking good because normally his Whirly Bird is the one on nitro, but he had switched it out to try that strawberry stout. It was really good. I'm trying to remember the name of it because it's not in circulation currently, but
well, yeah, make sure he
um
saves me some because I'm trying that.
oh yeah, oh I cannot wait to take you guys to I don't know when it's gonna happen, but take you guys to Tracy B's. Man,
I want
Jim
to
and
do
Tracy will give you guys the family treatment here.
I want to do a road trip out there and so that way I can pack my car full of Jenny.
Nice. That's the way you got to
Absolutely.
do it.
Yeah.
Just smuggle
Oh,
some cultures across. Oh yeah, you're gonna talk about it, Luke?
talk about oh, yes, I'll get into that in a minute. Well, I did want to say I just looked it up because I was trying to think of what it was that I had from Left Hand Brewing that was nitro, like the most recent one that I had from them is their milk stout, which I think is a
I've had
pretty
that one.
standard stout. It's good.
I've had
But
their
yeah, I'm looking
peppermint as
here.
well.
They they have a pumpkin spice latte nitro, which sounds very familiar to me, so maybe I had that one at one point. Doesn't sound like one I would try to hunt down.
Well,
um,
I think we're gonna hunt down a break really quick, and then when we come back, I think there's some beer world news that we need to discuss here.
It's groundbreaking.
All right, we'll be back with more reporting at 6. Welcome back from our break. We're here with breaking beer news at 6. Luke Rydelic is on the scene reporting. Luke, what do we got?
Hi there, Donnie. We are looking at a brand new beer coming out of the Genesee Brewery. We are looking at a black cherry vanilla. Uh, oh my God, I screwed that up. I tried to
Yo,
pull it up. So
dude, you had it. You had it
That was going
too.
so well,
Oh
and I was
my
gonna
I
wait
God.
like
I'm
30
gonna get
seconds before
fired.
responding to you too. Like when they
Keller
have the
beer,
delay.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, the
Luke.
basement beer, Luke.
I know. This is a terrible day for news.
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
you had it?
Okay. No, but our dear friend Matt was on the scene today.
I
He,
saw.
in fact, sent a wonderful video I got a kick out of.
I didn't watch the video. I have not been. I've been busy, so
Dude, you gotta watch it. It's fantastic. Um, but
I saw his review on Untapped though.
yeah, it's important to note that I think there's some Genesee beers that he's not the biggest fan of.
So it's more
So he's not
objective.
yes, yeah. So I think there might be some bias from us gentlemen here when we try it, because I swear up and down that I've never had a Jenny beer that I didn't like.
It sounds like he's a self-hating Greater Rochesterian.
It's true.
No, he's just too honest for his own good.
Mm.
He's got to put the blinders on. He's got to convince himself like the rest
Just
of us.
accept
Yeah.
it. Yep.
No, Jenny Cream Ale doesn't give us the shits anymore.
No,
No
no,
way.
no. There's new
It
labels
doesn't.
on it.
It
Cans
doesn't. They
look
changed
different.
it.
It's mostly white. It's not a green can. It's not green.
But yeah,
That's
black cherry vanilla Keller beer, which is very interesting because we've been kind of vocal about how vanilla can overwhelm other flavors in a beer if not done correctly. So I think this is no problem for Genesee. I mean, they're not near to, or they're not new to the beer scene
Well,
by
and
any means. So
I think cherry can be in a lot of people's minds, a very controversial flavor. I am
that's for
one,
me.
like black cherry soda is one of my favorites. I am I am on record saying I think cherry Coke is better than regular Coke. Like I love cherry in sodas and stuff like that. And I like cherries just as a fruit in general as well. So I'm interested to see how the vanilla probably helps cut the tartness of the cherries and maybe helps
Yeah.
round out the beer more.
Well,
So
I think I've
it
talked
sounds
about it
intriguing
before,
to me.
but the Mackenzie's black cherry hard cider is my favorite cider.
Oh, I love a black cherry cider too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a massive cherry fan, so we'll see. But Kyle Kuzniar also tried it. Would you guys like his review?
Yes.
Yes.
Or do you want? Okay. Wow, that was resounding. Yes. Um.
Yes.
So he sends me a text at 9:40 on a Saturday, just a picture. Okay. And he goes, firstly, one of the best smelling beers. And then he said, taste wise, it doesn't hit as good, so it's a disappointing. But he likes the sour of the black cherry, but feels like it's a little bit of downgrade from the cran orange Keller beer that they have now. Now, wait a minute. Because he then goes on to say that the smell sets it up for failure. But let's fast forward a little bit to 10:13. Okay. So we're talking about like 30 minutes later.
33.
He goes, the flavor is actually solid. I'm on my second pint now I'm on my second pint now that the separate of smell and taste has settled. I really like the vanilla finish. And he said it's growing on him by the minute. So
Now,
based
what
off that one, I feel like it's a pineapple Kolsch situation where people are like, wow, that cran orange Keller beer was good, and they're gonna go in with high expectations. I think this is what I like. I think in a couple of years we're gonna get another Keller beer, and it's gonna be like blow everything out of the water.
The third
I
Keller beer.
Yep.
I think that it's the Helen Keller beer, but no, I no,
God
but
damn
what I
it,
was gonna
Luke.
say is what Kyle didn't say is that he had like 7 or 8 shots in between that first.
He had
Yeah, he actually was
14,
blacked out.
14
Yeah.
shots of wild turkey. No, I think the vanilla, like the Keller beer tends to be a little creamier too. So I think the
Mhm.
vanilla will lend itself to the mouthfeel of that beer really well. And so I
So
anticipate it next time I am in the area where it is being served.
I'm gonna come right out and say that Aunt Janet, if you're listening, I imagine you're going to hate this if you hate the the cran orange already. I think I can
This is an
safely
Aunt
assume.
Janet unapproved beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Rochester next week for Koos's bachelor party, and I thoroughly plan on coming home with a couple cases of various Jenny.
Smart man.
You could
Smart
drink
man.
12 of
Also,
them.
also what I found out, my apartment is sorely lacking in beer space. And when I say my apartment, the reason it's lacking is because Caitlin doesn't want all of my beer in the fridge. So I'm
So
gonna have
you're
to get
gonna
a
have
mini
to do
fridge.
warm storage?
Yeah.
Ew. No.
I've been
Get another
looking into
fridge.
investing in a mini fridge as well, just for beer.
I should, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna have
Just look
to.
at like yard sales. Look at people giving them away for free, dude.
Well,
I
I think I
had
still have mine from college, actually. Maybe.
well, I don't if you guys remember this. I had at one time 11 mini fridges because of
Yes.
COVID, everybody went home, and so the hoarder in me was like, I can't just watch this all rot here.
And
So
then you gave mini fridges to Maddie B, to my sister, and then how many other people going to college?
well, I don't have any mini fridges left.
He's mini fridgeless.
I'm mini fridge list, but some of my coworkers have some of my mini fridges. Well, that was 11 was the most I had at one time. So
A peak.
I had more than 11 over the course of that time, but
I almost
not
acquired
all at
one
once.
just the other day, but I don't know if I told you guys this. One of my fantasy football leagues, the way we determine draft order is a case race. So we each have to
That's
drink
so
12.
sick.
Yeah, we each have to drink 12 beers and submit a video of us drunk afterwards saying how long it took us. So I was already like 4 beers deep when Sophie texted me about it. She's like, "Oh, like the people across the street from me are like getting rid of a couple mini fridges." I'm like, "I can't drive." Um, the lakefront dive beers that I am consuming right now are currently dictating my life. So I'd never go at a breakneck pace. I did 4 hours, 16 minutes was my final time for 12 beers.
That's fair.
Three
When
beers
it
an hour is respectable. It's respectable.
That's exactly what I was going for. Like if I can get the fourth pick, I'm happy.
Yeah, see, I'm too competitive to where
My thing
I would
is,
go too fast for my own good.
it's so hard when you're just like sitting at home on a Sunday, just like trying to consume beer where it's like if I'm out and about, like if I'm out in the yard doing things, I think I could crush them way faster.
Oh yeah. The
Like I think if
passive drinking versus active drinking is
yeah, the
can be
active
a very
drinking's the
different.
hardest part, and I never have something going on where I can actively drink and just time myself because I can get 12 beers down in twice that time at other in other scenarios. But just sitting on my couch watching Noah Lyles win the 100, like shout out America. But like that's what it was. Um, and those beers are from Milwaukee, which is a state I've been to. However, Keegan, you've never been to Milwaukee or Wisconsin for that matter. Did you drink a beer from there?
I did.
Oh,
Um, from Raised Grain Brewing Company, I have the um yeah, the percentless stout because I couldn't find a percent on the box or on the can.
Online, it
Um,
says 12.95%.
that feels a little light for how it tasted. Um, so this is 8, kind of a cool can too. It's an anniversary bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. Brewed just last year, 2023. Again, Raised Grain Brewing Company. I I enjoyed this beer a lot. It was definitely though, like, I mean, heavily on that lessish scale. This was a beer that I could have one of, and I was like, well, I also at the time that I was drinking it, my water dispenser in my fridge wasn't working, and like the tap water is kind of like questionable.
I guess I just have to
So
drink beer.
I had no water. I had no water, so I was drinking this thick ass bourbon barrel aged stout as my only source of liquid at this point.
that definitely dehydrated you more than
Oh
when
my
you.
God. By the end of it, I was like,
You're like SpongeBob in that one episode.
water,
Water.
water. Yeah.
Water.
Um, no, and that's not a knock on this beer. That's a knock on my failure to prepare. Um, but this was like, yeah, I really enjoy this beer. Um, Definitely like dominant malty bourbon smell. Um, but I felt like you smelled more of the bourbon than you've actually tasted. But it was definitely there. It was definitely a boozy beer. But it kind of in a way that paired well with the caramel, which I really enjoyed. Um, Actually, the note that I had, if you want the quote, caramel sweetness comboed with the bourbon is chef's kiss. So for those of you keeping track at home, that's two chef's kiss on the podcast. Um, but also like the texture of it was literally just like velvet. You're like it's so smooth. It was fantastic. I thought it was a great anniversary present for Raisin Grain. I'm sorry, and I gave it also a 4.5. So I had
Holy,
two 4.5s this week.
Good week,
um,
Keegan, I guess.
I
Very
had a
good week. Thanks to you,
4.5 for my
Donnie.
first beer as well.
Wow.
So we've
So
got three 4.5s if I'm doing my math correct.
Well, we know you are a soft science major, so let's get the calculator out.
So we know it's correct, is what you're saying.
no, I was telling
Luke took
Keegan,
grocery store math, so
yeah, it's this tier below taxes in high school. No, I was telling Keegan, I don't know if you heard this, Luke, but a buddy of mine who I was actually just hanging out with, him and I went to high school together, but he does like investments in breweries and distilleries. So his thing is he always says, shout out Matt, that his anytime he buys alcohol, it's a business write-off.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he invests in raised grain. You know, he lives in Utah, but he comes out here so for work and stuff, and so he's invested in raised grain and done some stuff out there. And I really needed to get out there. I've had a couple of their beers. I haven't had this one, but it looked really good, and I said, you know what? I think Keegan would like it.
and I definitely did.
It
Your
was.
judgment was very good.
I don't know if you
I'm
looked it
keeping the
up.
box too because the box is sick.
Yeah, I was surprised when I found out it was a can in a box, but it was cool.
It's dope.
But it's made so it was with freshly emptied bourbon barrels from Heaven Hill, Henry McKenna, and Widow Jane. Which
Wow.
Sophie's parents like Widow Jane. They usually have that in the house.
That was
This
Keegan's
is
nickname in high school. That's really ironic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, whatever barrel like the brands you listed, like I would definitely try that bourbon based off of how this stout came out.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'll have to see if I can find another bottle or can of it at the store because it sounds really really good.
It was
And
delectable.
I'm very curious about that one. I I also, if it's all right with you guys, I'll go second here. I also received a stout from our wonderful friend Donny here. That was another 4.5. Not wanting to mix stuff up here. Okay. It was a 4.5. So again, doing quick math, 4.5 ratings
So
thus
what does
far in the
that
podcast.
what does that add up to, Luke?
2/3 of what will
Nice.
be reviewed by the end. Back to you, Keegan. I'm just kidding. So this is Three Sheeps. This is a specialty release out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And am I saying that correctly?
Bratwurst capital of the world. That was Sophie's fun
Oh,
fact.
that's
Nice.
right.
That's
When she
right.
has
That's
her
I
right.
fresh
forgot
coast
about
on the
that.
pod.
This is their beer called The Wolf, and it is an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels. I loved this beer. Um, I so I thought it was very, very good, very, very rich. I get that oaky depth in my nose like I would a glass of bourbon. Plus we're sitting at a 13% that I saw on the internet
Wait, oh,
because
five
this
percent
also
more than Keegan's.
this one also oh, I just saw a note on here. ABV on bottom of can. 13.4%.
Oh shit, Luke.
Holy, no wonder why I'm feeling a-okay.
Feeling
Um,
amazing.
I'm not. In other words, I'm not super surprised to have gotten those notes. I get a little vanilla, but not like by no means overpowering in this at all. It just somebody had a vanilla bean inside of the brewery when this was being brewed. Uh, that's the way I'm looking at it. Um, but uh, but yeah. So and I legitimately got notes of raisin in the aroma. So
Really?
shout out to that one annoying guy in my Beers of the World class who pissed
No
off the
soy
teacher.
sauce.
No soy sauce. I did not get soy sauce for this one. Um, caramel and some like roasted coffee, but it was sweet. And I did what I do with a lot of stouts when I'm first tasting it, and I had it first cold and second room temp, and absolutely fantastic, but so sweet room temp. But I loved it. It was very, very good. And I find the sweetness hitting right before like any sort of discernible bitterness, which I think is pretty wild and fun. I had a lot. I had a lot. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Wisconsin. It's a great pick, Donnie.
Yeah, that's one I see. So at my local liquor store, Avenue Liquor, they always have the wolf out, and they've done some variants of it. Like they've got the coconut. There's like a coconut one, I think.
Hmm.
And
Ooh,
I
that I'd be
like
interested in.
yeah, I might pick that up when I do my weekly run down there.
I had that coconut stout, the Wham Whams,
Wham whams.
earlier this year. If you
I
guys
had
remember,
that toasted coconut porter that was really, really good too.
great things can be done with coconut.
I love coconut, man. I
Just a
really do.
local Dominican guy, grounds worker, cutting it open with a.
I
It's
had
still. I'll never forget that.
I had an
Uh,
IPA with coconut the other day.
Really.
How did that go?
It was like mango and coconut. I was gonna originally drink it on the podcast,
Oh.
and then I got bored, and then I drank it. I drank it watching baseball on my couch one night. From Drecker. It was called the Hater Blockers, but it was like mango and coconut is what the flavors I got out of it.
That is wild.
Wow.
What'd you think?
Really, really good. I like.
Mm.
I've been very impressed with every beer I've had from Drecker so far.
Well, yeah, you
I
just
could,
had. Do you want to talk about your
dude.
recommendation?
Yeah, it's not the beer I'm reviewing for this pod. I kind of wish I did. It's called Arnie Party, which is their like the party with like no A, just purdy. It's a bunch of R's. They're stout or not they're stout, they're sours that they do. And it was an Arnold Palmer one basically. And it was
Wow.
like slightly smoothie. The reason it didn't get a five is because it was like melted gummies was the texture of it.
Oh.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's it. Like the flavor was amazing, but like Sophie took a sip of it. She's like, I could drink a lot of that in a short amount of time, and
Mm.
that's not good. And she's like the texture is the hardest part of it, and so that was it. But they have a really good stout called Ectogasm, an IP or not a stout, sorry, IPA. I keep saying stouts because you guys just talked about stouts. A really good IPA called Ectogasm. Really, really good. They're out of Fargo, North Dakota, like that one
I
TV
saw a
show.
movie once with
Did
But
you?
that in it. Yeah, it was called Fargo.
I think it's a show.
A movie, a Coen Brothers movie originally.
Oh, you're right. Fuck you. I did. Did I tell you I recently watched Oh Brother, Wherefore Art Thou?
Oh, bro. Oh,
Where Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
yeah.
Yeah,
Really? What'd you
yeah. So
think?
Sophie and I loved it. We loved it.
Dude, it is
I know you
that
love the
is
Coen
one of my
brothers.
top five favorite movies, which the Coen brothers knock it out of the ballpark for everything. If you liked that, you and Sophie together for movie night with beer. I just set up the entire thing for you, so no need to
Okay.
No
work out
hard
the
thinking.
details. Need to watch the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I've seen Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll just never forget when you invited us all to your guys' apartment sophomore year at college. And you were like, Luke, you were like, I got this movie I want to show all of you guys. And we watched Burn After Reading. And everyone looked at you after the movie and was like, what the fuck just happened? That was
Another
literally the
great Coen
consensus.
Brothers movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Everyone forgets about it too.
It's a good one.
That I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me in my life where I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna love this song, or like, oh, you guys are gonna love this movie or this show or something, and I show it, and people look at me like, what is wrong with you? Why did
Yeah,
you consume this media?
well, but I think it's what I appreciate about your beer reviews too, is you're very good at appreciating the art of something as a whole and like noticing you're like, yeah, like this isn't a linear plot, but it's done really, really well, and that's not a criticism of it.
That's what I appreciate about you, Luke.
It is.
Oh, you.
Um, and what I appreciate about beer from Louisiana is I did my Keegan impression this week on the pod because I got a beat of brewing blueberry wheat
Ah!
out of
Whoop, whoop,
Louisiana.
whoop, whoop,
I
whoop.
believe Sophie's parents, Don and Kathy, just actually went on the Abita tour the other day. So shout out to them. They're in New Orleans this week.
Shout out Don
Um,
and Kathy.
yeah,
Abita is
this
beer too, honestly.
yeah, I've heard good things about Abita. I see some of their beers around here. There's one. They have like a Mahi Gras Maibach, and then they've
Wow.
got one called like Andy Gator. I can't remember what type of beer it is, but
Lausanne.
either way, Louisiana. Oh yeah, I got the Abita blueberry wheat. My name is Donny Dubois because that's how they like all the Cajun people with my last name say it. They say Dubois. I
Donny
gave
Dubois.
I get no, it's not Dubois, it's Dubois.
Dubois.
I gave this a 4.25, so not quite the 4.5s.
Damn it.
Sorry, guys. It just needed a little extra to me. It like had that strong blueberry smell and taste. I would say it was a super smooth beer, like something that you could just definitely Moorish, very light, good shower beer, good lawn mowing beer, hits both of those
Sweet.
categories. Um, I said could turn to water while sitting outside near a body of water. Um, and then like I don't know, the wheat to me, I got a very slight like wheat sweetness on the back of it. But it was just a good beer. Like this is just like a solid like give me a 6 pack of these, they will be gone in a short amount of time
I'm in.
type of
So we're
Yeah, I
beer.
was gonna
going.
say
So
that sounds right up Keegan's alley.
why are we going to Louisiana?
I right after the boat leaves the dock.
Nice.
Yeah, we should all try and do our Cajun accents.
Yeah.
While just reading the beer
Yeah.
from their
Seasonal
website.
series, I beat
Well,
a
you got the
brewing.
whole here to get on, to get
Kiki
on,
rum
blueberry,
punch,
we gotta do a sweet
mimosa.
Alcohol per
We're
volume.
gonna do vanilla cream soda.
There's like a I swear like my impression of a Cajun accent comes from like a Scooby Doo episode from when I was a child.
I remember it was a movie,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
it?
the
With the
one. It was
zombies?
yeah. There was that one too, the Zombie Island. But also in my head, it's the I think it's What's New Scooby Doo, the one where Simple Plan did the theme song. But I believe there's one about where they're in Louisiana and they're like doing like it's like a Civil War boat like ghosts. I think is what they are.
Boat
And
ghosts?
there's no Civil War ghosts. No boats. I
Oh,
think there's a bus.
bus ghosts?
Yeah, bus ghosts. That's the one that has Bill Murray in it.
Butt ghosts?
Ghost bus there. No,
Honestly,
that's
if you want like a Louisiana accent, you gotta listen to Ed Orgeron, the old LSU coach.
oh yeah, Coach Ed.
Go,
Yeah.
go Tigers.
Go
Go
Tigers.
Tigers. It was the best. The best.
I used to watch Swamp People
That's
religiously on
dude.
TV.
Listen, that's what I think of. I think of Troy. Troy is
Yup.
Cajun accents to me.
Yeah, we're gonna go in the
You
bayou.
you
We're
gotta put a
gonna get
quarter
the
size
gator.
hole on the head. You gotta hit it with a shoot it down.
You gotta get it back in the head. Go
They don't
get
say
gator.
real words down there.
Yeah, right.
Those aren't words. They're just sounds.
And we were doing impression of the women. No.
Ugh.
Well, hey, I've got some Cajun lineage in my family here. My the French Canadian side on my father's side were forced out of Acadia, Canada, and went down to Louisiana. and
Losing.
settled in there, and we all know what happened.
Yeah, now their
They,
great grandson drinks beer on a podcast.
you bet. Yeah, and they lost the ability to talk.
Their tongues were cut out of their mouths.
We're gonna get some Cajun hate, and I want to see if they type the way they talk.
uh, well, do we have any nominations for the next week's theme, boys?
Well, I was listening. So Caitlin listens to a lot of PMT. Pardon my take for those of you who don't listen. And they're in their Mount Rushmore month.
They do love Mount Rushmores on that pod.
So I'd like to go on a limb. I know we haven't formally discussed this. I would like to nominate Mount Rush beer.
I think that's a great next episode. I think that's a good
Fair.
one that'll get us thinking.
And that doesn't have to be it. I just wanted that as my wheel suggestion.
I'm totally aligned. My idea was that we talk about our beer tier lists of like free beer
Ooh,
only type of thing.
Oh yeah.
So that was my suggestion.
Luke, do you
But
have one just so we can do the wheel? Because I want to spin
Mine,
something.
I'm going to say this. Mine was picked for the last 2 weeks. I'm going to remove my suggestions from the pool. We're going to have a really weird wheel. It's
so
got
we're
two
doing
It's
spokes.
just got two sides.
all
Luke,
right.
I wanted you to go because in case you won again, I was gonna have you pick some lotto numbers for me.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we can actually make money off this podcast.
Right, that's it. That's how we do it.
All right. Then we're going 50-50 between Keegan and I because we're, as we know,
Hey,
the natural rivals of this
50
podcast.
50.
And it looks like Keegan gets it with
There we
Mount
go.
Rush beer.
Come on,
Mount
baby.
Rush beer.
Let's
So
go.
the founding father, they're not founding fathers, Mount Rushmore, but your four beers, if you had to represent your beers on a cliffside.
Oh, okay. Point of
Is that
clarification.
did you
Okay.
not know what Mount Rushmore was? Oh,
In
No,
the
I
Black
thought
Hills
that
of South
was
Dakota.
I thought that was the tall obelisk thing in DC. Is it not? No.
Though
No,
that's
but
Giza.
no, but okay, so point of clarification here. Are we doing our four favorite beers or like one that fits with each of those presidents that are depicted on the mountain?
that's a really good question, actually.
So the way I'm kind of viewing it, as I'm, a couple beers deep on this Tuesday night, is I think it's the four beers that represent us. Because I think like Mount Rushmore is the four presidents that like symbolize America, like that you think of, like
I
when you think of
agree.
American history. Like for me, I'm the thought I'm thinking about putting into this is what are the four beers that I put up there that it's like, all right, if you had to get to know me in four beers, this is it. And like these
I
beers
like
are
that.
big to me. I'm gonna, there is a very real chance there's repeats from our all-star teams, and that's okay.
That's
Um,
fine.
but like, because to me, they may not be my four like favorite beers, but they're in my top tier of beers that I would drink.
They're daily drivers for sure.
No, 100%. I would never be disappointed if you handed me those beers, but they're
Right.
beers that define me or you or Cindy Lou Who.
Although I don't, maybe at a later episode, I like the idea
Of
of
relating them to
thinking
presidents.
about what beers certain presidents would drink.
All 40 something.
So I think we gotta stuff that in the shirt pocket, and then at some point we're gonna associate presidents with beers.
And you can do that with this exercise, but to me, it's more of how, like, the impact of them on your life as these presidents have had impact on America.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
And I say that as a political science major on this podcast.
Yeah, you're the political science major on the podcast.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm the packaging science. I'm claiming that one. So you get to be yourself, Keegan.
Nice. Wait, I want to do packaging because I know I
You're
can't hack
marrying
it.
a packaging engineer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Not fair. You probably know all the stuff
Yeah,
already.
yeah, I have to learn which party does what.
The answer is neither do anything.
Anything.
They all they do is stop each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keegan, do you have a question for us this week?
I actually don't. I'm kind of lacking.
Well, let's just put who's your favorite president?
I like that. Yeah. Wait. So is it
Open-ended,
open-ended
or are
then?
you going to give
No,
options?
I could give options.
But
No, I shouldn't do that. We got to do something else.
hold
I was
on.
just gonna put Millard Fillmore in there and see if anyone.
You know what we could do is put it on the story and leave it as like an open response question.
That will be like when we have post about the next episode.
Okay.
Maybe we
Hold
don't
on.
have a poll this week. Maybe we give
I don't
people
think I have a
free
question.
will.
I got a question.
Yes, you may be excused.
Okay, thank you very much. You guys have a great night. Thanks for listening. um, let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
That didn't seem like a question.
It wasn't.